And welcome everyone to DRC F1 2022. This is season 6, round 6 at Zandvoort in the Netherlands. Today, after a quick switch in commentators, it was meant to be Def joining me today. We do have Fake. Hello, Fake. How you doing?
I'm happy to be here.
That is great. It didn't pick up any of that because my audio was broken once again. Um, I was given about 20 minutes notice that I was streaming. Not everything got set up properly, but it's all fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
It's
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
under control. You know.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Mhm.
we'll be coming into our 18-minute qualifying session here on this very tight circuit. I'd say it's quite a narrow circuit for being a permanent track in Formula One. It's got some nice banks though. I don't know if you'd agree, Fake.
Yeah. It's a real nice track. Zandvoort. Of course, located in the Netherlands, very close to Amsterdam. Um, with the beautiful beaches to the right of Zandvoort. And yeah, it's a very characteristic track with all the banking there is and all the tight corners. It's basically like Monaco because in Monaco you crash into the barriers if you go off track, but here you go off track, but the curbs around this track is very dangerous, and there's a lot of tight corners. So yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Tight corners and a pretty long straight that you can slingshot out of the turn onto, which does get you a lot of speed. So we're going to sit here now and wait for the first cars to start to exit their garage. Of course, they have 18 minutes to set their fastest lap, as it always is with qualifying. Fastest lap goes on pole. Slowest lap starts last, which in this case is 17th position. We've only got 17 drivers, with I believe Morris being on loan from Ferrari to Mercedes,
And
and
that's an Alpine.
it does appear to be an Alpine going out first, and Aston Martin. It looks like it's an Alpha Tarex in the garage in the background as well. Car number, is that 28 right there? We will see. That was Penguin who decided to go out first. Let's get some UI going on here. Um, there we go. Right, we appear to have a couple of drivers with connection issues once again. This does happen occasionally. It should hopefully be sorted by the time the race comes around. But Fake, obviously, I don't think you've done Tier 1 yet this season. Am I correct?
No, I think I've done tier two once because I've been booked a lot of days. But yeah, I'm kind of rusty, and yeah, again, first time doing tier one this season. So yeah.
Indeed. Well, I hope you enjoy the show. These drivers have been putting on some brilliant races. So as you probably haven't seen much of what's happened in Tier 1, I don't know if you can make the best prediction on what's going to happen, but I'll certainly make my qualifying prediction now. I think we've got Jacob racing. Jacob is indeed racing. I think Jacob and Edgen are going to once again fight for pole position around
Well,
here.
I mean, if you look on the F1 time trials, you can actually see Edgen is right now third overall in the time trials. So I think he has a pretty good chance of getting pole today.
Edgen has always got a very good chance of getting pole. He's a very quick driver. You can see him just slingshotting off the bank in there. You can get a lot of speed if you take that correctly, get just the right amount of downhill on the exit. And Edgen spins. Edgen's
Oh,
first lap has now
oh,
been already messed up, and he will now have to box for fresh tyres, fresh fuel, and go again. That is on the pit exit there. Luckily, no one was exiting the pit lane, but that has already immediately messed up Edgen's first hot lap.
yeah, that is wow. Of course, Edgen when he's on the limit, he is actually on the limit, and he is very close to. He always makes those mistakes when he's pushing. Um, which is also I have seen a little bit this season, and I've seen Edgen he hasn't been the most consistent. But yeah, I think that's what's holding him back this season.
And we're just going to watch a quick replay of Edgen's spin there. It looks like he got too much on the inside curb and ended up just spinning the car on the pit exit. That is a very odd incident indeed. I expect we may see that a couple of times in the race that is to come after the session. But here now, after about 4 minutes of qualifying, sorry, we have Retrograde, who is the replacement to Mizzy over at Red Bull, has now gone on pole by only 0.02 of a second ahead of Jacob, who are both on 110.7s. And then we've got RD Gamer in third on a 111.0, and then your Haas driver, Fake, of Johnny Donny, has gone at 4th position for 111.3. Some very interesting.
That's not Batari off. Bez is off right now.
Bez is off. I believe they may just be going slow for other drivers. They have set their lap time already, the 111.5. So I don't think that's too much to worry about. Morris goes 4th, 111.1. But how do you feel with your driver being in 5th already, Fake?
You know, honestly, he has told me behind the scenes that he has shown some good pace. He has shown that he can do good stuff at this track. Of course, it is also his home track. He is Dutch, so I think it's really good to see that he is up there fighting with some of the good people here in this tier. So it makes me really happy to see.
It looks like Edgin did continue the lap he spun, set the 127.7. I believe might actually be on another hot lap now. It's currently, I don't think going to reach the line in 5 seconds, so maybe he might enter the pit lane now, as he only manages to set a 111.9, which is still only 12th. I wonder if those tyres have died off very quickly, which is entirely possible. So it feels like a very tyre-intensive circuit, especially with the banking going to be affecting his tyres even more.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that he has decided to stay out on the tires and try doing one more lap, because not only this track is very heavy on the tires, when you spin, that is also very heavy on the tires, so it confused me a bit why he's staying out, but yeah.
Indeed. I think Edgin just trying to set a banker lap, but a banker lap that has not really got him anywhere in particular. Scraffy going third. I didn't even realise Scraffy was with us today. Of course, hasn't been here for about half the races this season. But does make a reappearance here for round 6, of course, on a title hunt with both Edgin and Jacob, who are currently fighting for the title with, I believe, 2 wins each. And then someone else has the 5th win. I don't have the exact count, especially with penalties applied and all of that. You might be able to dig up the information, Fake, but don't worry if you can't, as I believe...
information of what?
How many wins everyone's got. I believe both Edgin and Jacob have 2 wins, but I can't remember who won the 5th race.
So Jacobs has won 2 races.
Oh, okay, Jacobs won 3 then. Has Edgin won 1 then and Scraffy won 1? I don't know.
Oh, I think... wait, who won the last race?
Was it...
It was Jacobs, no?
I think so.
Yeah, so Jacobs has won 3 races and Edgin has won 1.
And then, did Scraffy win another one? Because...
I'm pretty sure that's it, yeah. Let me just check. No, it's MKL.
Oh, MKL won the other one, of course, yes. So, Scraffy here, yet to win a race, despite having a very good season last season. So, I'm expecting something good from Scraffy, of course, setting 3rd on the first lap time. They're all very close there in the top 4, only separated by, you know, literally just less than 1/10 of a second. So, I'm expecting a lot from those 4 drivers.
Yeah, so am I, but I'm expecting a lot from Edgin as well. Of course, he spun the lap, so those 4 drivers, they aren't safe yet. But what a performance by Retrograde, of course, who is just stepped in from Missy, who was benched by Red Bull after having a lot of unfortunate crashes, and just Red Bull couldn't take the risk.
Oh, I don't even think it was benched from Red Bull. I believe completely removed from Red Bull.
Oh, completely okay. That's, yeah.
Which is very interesting. I believe that has left Red Bull without a reserve driver, as Retrograde was their reserve driver and has stepped up to the main seat, at least for now. So this could be very interesting what we see over at Red Bull in the coming races. Of course, we're about now halfway through the season. I believe we've got a 12 race season. This is race 6, so we are now halfway through. Well, this would be the halfway point, however you want to see it. As Retrograde now crosses the line, so it's a
What
110.4. Goes 3 tenths faster than Jacob, and that is a very, very good lap time there from Retrograde.
that is incredibly impressive by Retrograde there. That is really a great lap time there. And Jacob, ah, I hope he's able to improve so we can have a little battle pole. But if not, that is super interesting to see.
That is a brilliant lap time. It does make you slightly wonder why Retrograde was only ever hired as a reserve in the first place, especially considering he got a very good result last weekend. I believe it was a podium. I think in the interview, he even said wanted to get a further podium. I could be completely wrong. Could be someone else I'm thinking of. My memory is just absolutely terrible when it comes to these things. But it's all okay. I have a lot of things I need to remember. And
You have a good voice, so it's okay.
and that's going to be a 110.5 for Jacob. Improves, but does not improve position. That's going to be stuck in second for the Aston Martin driver, at least for now. As we go over to Edgin and see what Edgin's up to. He's just finished the first sector on this. How long is this track?
It's 3 kilometers. Wait, let me check on the up on
See, this is the problem with not having a track map at the start, like, you know.
4.2 kilometers.
4.2 kilometers. So around this 4.2 kilometer circuit, we have about a 1 minute 11 lap time, and Edgin has just entered the third sector and did set it green in that second sector, I do believe, which is very interesting indeed, as Edgin now comes out of the final turn, uses that banking disadvantage. It's only a 1:11.0. That is 6th position, but I'm expecting more from Edgin going into the final runs at the end of the session here.
Yeah, that is super. Just that's not a fast lap of what you would think Edge would do, and that's a Haas thanks as well. But that's just not what you would see from Edge, especially since he's P3 in the overall standings in the time trial. Like that's just weird that he's not put in a good enough lap to not even be top 3.
Indeed. So we will very much see what's going to happen with Edgin in the coming laps. Maybe just not found the right setup yet for this exact race, the exact conditions going on. But Scraffy here is now on a hot lap. His best time so far is a 1:10.7 and is currently 1/10 up on that lap time, which, as things stand, would still leave him in 3rd position. So we'll see what he can do. That was after 1 sector, so if he could keep that up, he could be going for pole position here. It won't be by much. Retrograde has set a very, very good time. That 1:10.4 is an absolutely brilliant lap time. Goes past the sector line. It's going to be a purple sector 2, and is currently 0.18 seconds up on his previous lap time. He's going to go into the very fast sector 3. It's only got like 3 corners in it. It's going to go around it. You can basically flat out this bank corner here. Slingshot off it. That was not a great slingshot in my opinion. Definitely went for shorter track time. And that's going to be a 1:10.469. And that is going to be pole position by about 300ths of a second. Fake. That was a brilliant lap.
That was absolutely beautiful. Honestly, he nailed a lot of apexes there and got some good traction. And that's what you expect from a guy who was looking so promising last season.
Indeed it is. That is exactly what we like to see as Haas driver does enter the pit lane. So the track's now going to go very quiet. I don't think anyone's actually on a hot lap right now. I could be wrong. No, Igor was on a hot lap but has invalidated, which means he'll stay in 10th at least for now, 1:11.3. So, Fake, I know this isn't esports related, but have you watched any of the 24 hours of the Nürburgring?
Oh,
Just
yes,
out of interest.
I have. I was at my friend's and we just had it on a screen while we were playing. But yeah, that was an interesting race to say the least. I think, in my opinion, there's too many classes for the race. There's too many slow cars compared to fast cars.
I would have to slightly agree with you. I looked at the time sheet of something like 21 separate classes at that race. I
Yeah.
watched from, I think, hour 22 to, or 22 left to about 15 left. I didn't manage to watch any today, unfortunately. So I didn't see the end of it, but it was very interesting to watch the parts that I did watch.
Yeah. Um, Most of the crashes happened because slower cars, they're rookies, they're new people to race in, and they just don't know how to act when faster cars are coming up behind them, and so they swing from side to side to try and let people past instead of sticking to the line. So a lot of crashes happened, and that's just not safe.
Indeed, and of course Le Mans in just a few weeks' time as well, as far as I'm aware. What is it, 10th and 11th of June?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's about
Yeah,
right.
which hopefully I will be watching. However, it is exam season here in the UK, so
Yeah.
that's very fun. But Edgin now is on a fast lap coming back to the DRC race at hand. Has gone slightly faster than personal best in Sector 1 by about 7 hundredths of a second, which is not enough to improve him into that top 3 where he desperately needs to be to get a very good start at the race, or in the race. I should say. Scraffy exits the pit lane to go for one final time, try and defend that pole position he set. Retrograde is still sat in the garage. Hopefully we'll see him come out very, very soon.
Oh, actually, in purple sector too.
Edgin
With
indeed
four.
is 4 tenths up now. That is enough to get a 110.6, which at current standards would be about 4th position. He needs a brilliant Sector 3 here if he wants any chance. We have a Mercedes, looks like he's spun round in Sector 1. I'm not able to go to that, but Edgin's now going to set a 110.4.
Oh.
If he's got enough fuel, he can go around again. That's not quite pole position. That will be
But
second place.
he has no ERS. He has no ERS left.
There is no battery left in Edgin's car. That is going to be Edgin's final lap time, I would have to assume. I cannot currently see time left in session. There is a yellow flag that is blocking me. It looks to be a Mercedes and a Haas having a scuffle over there. Looks like Edgin went past, no problems. We're now going to go to... who else on a fast lap? We're going to go to MKL. MKL looks to not be going too fast, unless, of course, I'm seeing things wrong. In fact, we'll go to Scraffy. He's just entered Sector 3 on his outlap. He'll be going through now. He'll be looking to get the best slingshot he can off that outer banking. He goes for it and gets a brilliant line through the final corner now. He's going to go past the start-finish straight, and he's now going to look to set a faster lap than what he's already got. He is on provisional pole as things stand. Edgin didn't have enough speed. It looks like Edgin has been isn't charged that battery enough to go around again. He's still pushing though. There is not enough speed in that car, however. Goes to 1.10, enters the pit lane. That is going to be Edgin, second place at best here in this race. Retrograde goes past the start-finish line after his outlap. That's going to be... It's a hot lap started. He's going to go for it. So Scraffy and Retrograde now left go for pole. Jacob as well is still on his outlap. He's going. He's trying to get as much heat into the tyres as possible. Doing some burnouts on the penultimate bit of straight track that's on this circuit. He's going to be closely followed by a Haas, maybe trying to get some toe off the Aston Martin. That's going to be Johnny. Of course, your other driver down in 6th.
Pockets is off. Pockets is off.
Pockets appears to be off. He has recovered the car, but he's not going to have any speed exit in the final corner. He might be able to go for a lap, but it's not going to be the greatest lap in history. Scraffy now is coming around the final bend as he goes for a faster lap. He gets a 110.367. That is going to be provisional pole. Retrograde will be next across the line, who's able to challenge what Scraffy has just put in. He's currently not got the greatest lap time as things stand. He's got 10 seconds to go through the final corner and get to the line. It's a 105 exiting the final corner. It does not appear to be as fast as Scraffy's. He looked to be going for the pit lane, didn't go for the pit lane. It's going to be a 110.5, which is 1/10 slower than what he had. That's going to be Retrograde, third at best. Jacob now, currently 4th position. I'm expecting something very fast from Jacob. He's been a very fast driver all season. Currently has 3 wins to his name. And I believe another podium on top of that. So now we're going to see exits the final corner. This isn't looking great. He went for the slingshot, which might not be the best set. It's a 110.351. That's going to be 100th of a second faster than what Scraffy did. And that's going to be I think pole for Jacob. I don't think anyone else is left on track who's able to challenge that. RD Gamer still out on track. Sets a 1:10.8. That's going to be 8th position as Penguin sets... Sorry, Penguin set the 1:10.8. RD Gamer is still actually out on track. But that is an in-lap. That is going to be your grid, I think, there. Fake. That's going to be
Yeah.
Jacob on pole, followed by Scraffy by only 100th of a second, followed by Edgin. There's a 1/10th gap there. Retrograde 4th, MKL 5th. That is your top 5 there. We have 2 Aston Martins, 1 McLaren, 1 Ferrari, and 1 Red Bull. And it's then going to be Johnny in 6th, Penguin 7th, RD Gamer 8th, Kimirai 9th, Igor 10th, Morris 11th, Valid 12th, Pockets 13th, Thunder Fox, Bez, Striker Boy, and Fudge McMuffin being your final 4 out of 17 on today's grid. That was an exciting qualifier, Fake. I don't know if you'll agree.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of things happening from time to time. I saw a lot of guys spin. I saw a lot of guys crash as well, but I saw a lot of fast drivers. That's what I saw the most of. And honestly, in the end, I kind of wrote Jacob off. Sorry for my bad English. But I kind of wrote Jacob off, you know, because he set a decent bank lap, but it wasn't great. And you see Scraffy and Edge and all those just doing fast lap times, and you see Jacob with 2 tenths off, 3 tenths off, and you just think, no way he gets back from this. But he did, and he goes on pole.
Indeed does go on pole, and here is a quick reminder of what your grid's going to look like. It's going to be Jacob on pole with Scraffy alongside. Edgin will be behind Jacob and then Retrograde alongside him. Then it's going to be MKL, Johnny, Penguin, RG Gamer, Kimirai, Igor, Morris, Valid, Pockets, Thunder Fox, Bez, Striker Boy, and Fudge McMuffin rounding off your grid today. I'm expecting a very close race between the top 4 and maybe even MKL able to get in there and assist his teammate over at Aston Martin. This is going to be, I think, potentially the most exciting race so far this season.
Yeah, honestly, that was very, 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 very nice. That was a nice qualifying session. And yeah, but there was quite a few spins and crashes, and it's wet.
We have a
It's
wet race
full
at
wet.
Zandvoort. This is spiced things up immediately. Their setups are going to be for dry unless they saw it coming. Maybe Jacob had a dry setup on, everyone else had a wet setup on. We never know. We will see as the race comes by. But this has spiced things up like immediately. Anything could now happen in this race. They're going to have to, I believe, put the full wets on. This does not look like intermediate weather, and we'll see if it dries up at all. But it's looking very, very cloudy and fake. This is our first wet race of the season, I do believe.
Oh wow. Honestly, I was just about to say that we have had a lot of spins in qualifying, and I think we'll get a bit of chaos in this race. And as soon as I'm about to say that, we go in and it's full wet. I'm expecting some carnage. I'm expecting some chaos.
Hopefully, they will take it easy into turn 1.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this could be an absolute disaster. Ferrari, of course, have 3rd and I believe somewhere around 10th. They haven't had the greatest last couple of races. Edgin did perform okay at the last race, but before that they had a double DNF. So we'll very much see what happens coming in this race, but it is wet. They're taking a while to do their setups. I do not blame them one bit. We now have a 30-second timer before we go to the grid and we see our 5 red lights. But fake, I haven't seen any of these drivers driving the wet this season. I'm very, very interested in what's going to happen.
I believe this is gonna be spicy. Um, Honestly, I don't know if I hope that it's gonna dry up later, because either we're gonna have some interesting strategies, or we will have some maybe a little bit worse drivers that's fast on the wet.
Alright, we're going to go onto our grid now. We already have 4 of those red lights. So that goes to 5. And they're underway after being held for a very long time. It's going to be a very good start there from Jacob. Getting off the grid very well. But Edgy gets an even better start. And Edgy just goes ahead. He's just got so much more grip than everyone else. And that's going to be Scraffy going into second. Jacob loses second, but goes back into second. That's going to be Scraffy and Jacob fighting there for second position. Scraffy goes down the inside and takes the position. Everyone managed to get through the first few turns unscathed. They all go through. They're all alive. Scraffy stays ahead into turn 4, and that's going to be Scraffy then taking second. Jacob moves down to third after starting on pole. He's being challenged by Retrograde behind. MKL needs to come in from behind and help his teammate. But Edgin just got a brilliant start there, Fake. What the hell was that start?
Yeah, man, that traction was absolutely crazy there by Asian, and he just managed to out-grip the front. And yeah, he made it work, and he went into the lead.
And Igor here is going to be challenging for those final points paying positions on the track. Valid gets 10th, and that is going to be Igor moving down to 11th. Retrograde does get ahead of Jacob. That puts him into third position. MKL now behind Jacob. I wonder if Jacob just didn't have the right setup for the start there. We'll see if he comes back later in the race. But MKL is going to be faster and been told to give track position. Of course, there's a Haas behind and McLaren right behind that. They do need to worry about if they're going to think about anything early on in the race, but I doubt they will. Scraffy now and Edgin, they take the lead of this race and they start to charge forward. They have a 7/10 gap already. But of course, we're not going to have DRS enabled after 3 laps here. We have a 36 lap race ahead of us. And that's going to be MKL goes ahead of Jacob. Jacob here is really struggling in these wet conditions. And that's going to be MKL now becoming the leading Aston Martin on the circuit. And Fake, let's just rewatch the start that we just saw. If I could find the right button. Here's our live replay. In fact, I will give you a little picture-in-picture just in case something interesting happens. As Johnny challenges MKL through here, but backs off just a little bit. Doesn't find anything of value in those fights. Appears to be potentially a couple of battles happening at the rear of the grid. However, they are not as important. I mean, they're important, but they're not as important what happened at the front right now, as I believe that was Valid looking to get past Morris, and nothing happens. Striker Boy gets ahead of Fudge at the back of the grid. As we go back to full live picture, and that is going to be now. They start to calm down a little bit. A couple of gaps are starting to form, but Retrograde has been chasing Scraffy, and Edgin has a 1-second lead now.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that right now the drivers are looking to get some more space to maybe drive a bit safer in the wet, since it's very slippery. And yeah, you can see that Jacob, of course the championship leader, made a massive mistake there into turn 1 last lap, giving his teammate the position and making the Haas catch up. And now another mistake from Jacob with a massive snap there coming out of the exit of turn 1.
Sounds like Jacob is truly struggling with these conditions, only just managing to keep the Haas of Johnny behind, and then Kimi Rai and the McLaren just behind that. But I think the biggest battle going on right now is probably Retrograde v Scraffy for second position. This has given Edgin all the time in the world to build that gap. It's currently sat about 1.2 seconds here at Zandvoort. And it looks like Retrograde's car is just absolutely planted on the circuit right now, while Scraffy is moving around a little bit. Of course, they've both got a lot of grip. I say that as Retrograde almost gets a bit of oversteer there. Back end just starting to slide out just a little bit. And that's going to be going into what would be a DRS zone at this time in the lap, not becoming a DRS zone due to the wet conditions. And going through this very tight section where they could easily lose grip. That looks like a better line from Retrograde, but Scraffy's car position just enough to stop Retrograde going for a move. And Fake, I think Retrograde's going to struggle to get past Scraffy.
I think Scraffy, he needs to put a lot on the line here to keep Retrograde behind, because if Retrograde overtakes him, I think it's going to be hard for Scraffy to salvage a good result here.
And Retrograde appears to be significantly faster on the straights here, and MKL has now caught up to this battle. So it's going to be a three-way battle now for second position, as Valid finally gets past Morris, who is on loan from from Ferrari to Mercedes. And Retrograde's now going to pull back to about 4 tenths. Got to worry now about defending from MKL behind, who's also within about 4 tenths of a second. Jacob's fallen back to 2.2 seconds to his own teammate. And now got to worry about Johnny behind, only about 3 tenths. Of course, I know Fake's probably cheering Johnny on here to try and get his overtake done very quickly on Jacob. Which, of course, those bonus points helping Haas out significantly in the championship. Where are you currently in the championship, Fake?
That's quite. I think we're P7. I'll just have a look because it's quite no, we're P8.
P8 in championship. So
they haven't upgraded. They haven't updated the standings of the swap, but
Wow, we haven't
We
even
should
been
be
given our
P8.
standings after Spa. I'm very disappointed. No, don't kill me, Scrub, please. I quite fancy to live for another day. Um, but this battle now for second has spread out just a little bit as the defense, the retrograde is needed. And Scraffy sets the fastest lap, so Scraffy's actually pulling away a little bit. But MKL then resets the fastest lap, and that's going to be that's just like they're going to keep switching fastest laps all race. I think MKL is showing a lot of speed here in the wet, but Jacob on the other hand is really struggling. He's struggling to even keep Johnny behind as they go through to another lap. Look,
You know what might happen here? Because you see the rain. It's very, very slowly going away.
it
I'm
is
barely seeing any rain at this point. And, you know, maybe Jacob has risked it on a more dry setup than wet.
indeed, if that is the strategy, this might play into his hands, but over 5 laps, he's already lost about 5 seconds to the leader, maybe even 6 seconds to the leader. This is not what he wants to be seeing currently in this lap. They're going to... The Aston Martins are going to have to really think about what the strategy is here. But as you've said, Fake, the rain looks like it's, in fact, eased up. I think it has stopped raining.
Yeah, I think the rain's gone away. The track's still wet, but I think it's gonna be dry very soon. The second we see the DRS get turned on, I think that's the time that it's dry.
The leaders all opt to stay out for at least one more lap. Edgin sets the fastest lap, 1:20.3. That is enough proof that it's stopped raining, that their fastest laps have now improved by 1 second. So Edgin now has a 1.7 gap to Scraffy. That is brilliant for Edgin. He wants all the gap he can get so he can maybe pip a lap earlier onto those slicks and potentially just gain. No one has entered the pit lane as yet, but of course the track is still soaking wet and they're going to now have to go around to try and dry it out. But I'm not seeing any rain falling from the sky anymore. It's still overcast, but it's not rain anymore.
Yeah, we saw nobody going to the pits, nobody risked it this lap. But I think very soon the grip of these tires will go away because the tires will start to overheat. And by that time, I think that's when drivers will slowly start to pit. I think this lap surely somebody will pit, but yeah, of course this game hasn't been the best with changing conditions because it changing conditions very quickly. So yeah, it's not great.
Indeed, we'll see what happens. Of course, I've also noticed in this game the track often looks wetter than it actually is. So the track may look very, very wet now, but it could actually feel pretty dry for the drivers for all we know. You can see the dry line starting to develop now, which could be the sign they start to enter the pit lane. Edgin opts to stay out for another lap. Scraffy stays out. In fact, all the top 4, they all stay out for another lap, but that's going to be Edgin in significantly improved lap time. 1:19.7 is now your fastest lap. But Jacob has started to pull away from Johnny, which is
Yeah.
potentially showing that his setup is more suited for the dry. It may only be half a second, but that is still better than the 2/10 it was. But of course, Kimi Rai started to come through as well, which means Johnny's having to defend significantly more. I don't know why I keep yawning today.
I'm not sure I like this. I'm not sure I like this. Um, yeah, this is not great for Johnny. But yeah, it's I think this is a sign that it's starting to dry out slowly, more and more.
Retrograde has significantly caught onto the back of Scraffy. There's now only about a 1/10 gap going on there. Striker Boy gets ahead of Pockets there for 13th. He's started to make his way up through the standings. And Pockets does get back ahead. However, this battle here is very important. MKL started to catch as well because Scraffy's keeping Retrograde behind. And Johnny is still ahead of Kimi Rai. It's still ahead for now. Everyone's still in the positions they started in. But Jacob's now built to about a 1 second gap now. He's out outside DRS range for when that does get enabled. I haven't seen a message saying it is enabled. But Edgin improves by about 1 second on his fastest lap again. He's about 3 seconds now ahead of Scraffy. His Retrograde, I think, went for the overtake there, but didn't find anything. Went to just under 1/10. But MKL here is also looking for it. And it's going to get very tight here and very, very scrappy, I do believe.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get lucky if we don't see a crash in this battle because honestly, this is very very close between these three very fast drivers, and it is dangerous. It is gonna get dangerous and it's gonna get close, but it's gonna be a very nice battle, I think.
It will be a very nice battle all race long, I do believe. And as we continue to see here, this battle is going to rage on lap on lap. We're currently on lap 8 of 36. The rain has stopped. The dry line is developing. And I don't think it'll be long before we see some drivers start to pit for some slick tyres.
Yeah, this track looks very dry to me right now. So I think we might.
We'll have a look here. Edgin exits the final corner, and Edgin will dive into the pit lane. This is it. Scraffy dives into the pit lane. Retrograde stays out another lap. MKL stays out another lap. Scraffy and Edgin, your two leaders, have both stayed out. Both Aston Martins stay out, which is very interesting to me. I would not have predicted that. That's going to be the hard tyres on for Edgin and the medium tyres on for Scraffy. Some tyre differences already happening. They've got 2 more into the pits. Kimirai enters the pit lane, and Valid also enters the pit lane. Only 4 pit that lap. Maybe it's 1 lap too early. We'll see now. Retrograde and MKL have got to really, really push now. They've got to build as much of a gap to those that have pit now as they possibly can to try and have this make a difference in this race. As we have a Ferrari off. Edgin went off. Edgin did spin. The track is too wet for those hard tyres. Scraffy here is being very careful through those corners. As Valid, oh, wrong buttons. As Valid has got just about enough grip. Those hards not working. Kimirai not able to get the power down. These were the wrong decisions, I think. And Thunder Fox struggling on the hards as well. Is going out very wide through that corner. I don't think the hards were quite the right decision. I think the mediums were a much better decision from Scraffy. And maybe the track's not dry enough. But your driver's crashed. Thunder Fox is out of the Zandvoort Grand Prix. That's a safety car.
Oh no!
They're all going to pit now. Retrograde enters the pit lane. MKL enters the pit lane. Jacob here is trying to hold them up as long as possible to not get held up in the pit lane. Oh, that might actually just be the Delta. I'm not sure.
Oh no, it's not so speed.
But Aston Martin of Jacob enters the pit lane as well, directly behind MKL. And they're all entering the pit lane. Your driver of Thunder Fox has caused the safety car. And
I'm very happy that you're mentioning it's my driver, with a big your driver. That means a lot to me.
of course, Johnny is still in this race. He's currently sat in 4th.
Yeah,
So
he's gonna say that because of the safety car. Oh,
indeed.
this is beautiful. Oh, it's the
Edgin gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Edgin has pit again off those hard tyres, which I find a very interesting strategy call. Goes on to the mediums, wants to get... Oh, hold on, because I think the mediums can make it to the end.
Ooh, that's interesting. I don't think
He's done this before. He's done this
Has
before.
he?
He's done this before.
Ooh.
This is an Edgin Ferrari masterclass coming out now. He's going to pit onto those medium tyres to try and make it to the end of the race. I think that is his current strategy. He does sit with that 5-second penalty though, which has probably going to cause a few problems. I need to stop yawning. I don't think... it's been a very long day. Like, I definitely didn't wake up at like 3 PM and like, you know.
So is this a bit of a crash gate for Haas, maybe?
Is this what? Are we hearing this first here? The Haas team principal says.
I haven't told them. Don't worry. I haven't told them. Just check. But
Anyway.
this is yeah.
Onto the safety car here on lap 10 of 36. Edgin is going to be at the back, but at the front we're going to have Retrograde followed by... Oh my god, I actually need to just stop yawning. What is this? That is a Alpine entering the pit lane. That would be Striker Boy.
Mate, you should go to sleep.
Honestly, I should go back to sleep. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, this race is boring anyway.
oh, I mean, now it's on the safety car. It kind of is. You know? Just imagine Def was here. Def is the absolute master of safety car commentary.
Oh, sorry, I'm not. What does Steph usually say on the safety car?
I don't know. He finds something to talk about. I don't know. Edgin's pit again. He's back on the hards.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. That's good by Edge. I think you wanted to just save one lap on the hard tires.
Okay, but what I'm questioning, Has he done that for the compound change? It started wet. The compound change rule does not come into effect.
I mean, I guess he just wanted to save a few laps on the tires. I mean, he was last anyway, so it's fair enough.
But he's now got to
But
catch up to the safety car queue because this isn't going to stay out forever.
I think it's gonna stay out on a lap because he's not catched up.
What lap was it called out? Was it lap 10 it was called out?
Yeah, it's gonna stay out. It's gonna stay out one more lap because Session hasn't catched up.
It can stay out for a maximum of 3 laps. It will come in at the end of lap 12, I would assume. Edging now, really trying to catch up. The safety car queue as I yawn for the 15th time this race. It's all good.
So, yeah. What do you think about the floodings in Imola?
I think they're sad. You know, I heard a few people have unfortunately died to them. I also saw the Formula One management did donate €1 million, I believe it was.
Yeah, it was
so good on them.
So did Ferrari.
I believe AlphaTauri donated something as well.
Yeah, but I mean, AlphaTauri, it's their base that's there. So
it is indeed. Their base is in the region and was also affected by the floodings. But it was the correct decision, in my opinion, to cancel the race, which, you know,
yeah,
especially considering like the paddock was underwater, so
yeah,
you know.
you know, and I mean, Ferrari would still put shells out on mediums, but you know, it's But the safety car should come in by the end of this lap, back to DRC. And you can see both Aston Martins really are just revving their engines, trying to get some heat into those hearts. They don't want to be cold and slow off the start. So yeah.
Indeed. Especially they're on the hard tyres. Retrograde has the medium tyre advantage. Safety car in this lap, it is confirmed. Retrograde now becomes the effective safety car.
There's only 3 drivers on mediums on this whole grid, and it's Best, Scruffy, and Retrograde. So.
And Scruffy is one of them, but at the back. I think we're going to see a charge from Scruffy immediately off the restart here.
Yeah, I think we will. I think Scruffy, he has a lot of pace to get back into the race, but he needs to push for it.
And we're now going to see for when Retrograde goes, he's going to keep them through the final corner. He doesn't want anyone to gain a slingshot on him. He's not going to try and gain a slingshot himself. And that is going to be Retrograde not going yet. Not going. He's not going. He's still ahead. He's trying to get heat into his tyres. And there he goes. Off he goes. Aston Martin not caught off guard, though. Gets a very good start himself. As MKL behind. As that's Johnny getting the outside line on MKL. And he's going to lose 2 positions. No, not 2 positions. 1 position. He's going to lose a position to Penguin as he tries to get back for the position down the inside. Back round the outside. Tries to switch back. Doesn't find anything. That's going to be Johnny moving down to 5th. Goes around the outside once again. But Alpine is just very well positioned. Isn't able to find anything. Retrograde's gained 1 second already off the restart. That's a brilliant start from him. Igor loses the position to Valid down in 8th. As Johnny is still looking to get his 4th position back from Penguin. Penguin in the Alpine, of course, relatively quick this season. As we're sitting in like... you know, 6th to about 8th so far, consistently through the season. So Johnny now loses a lot of time, so I've got to worry about Morris behind in 6th, and hopefully his race doesn't end poorly. It's going to be Bez and Scruffy scrapping for 13th position here. Scruffy hasn't got the start of the restart I expected him to get. Edgin Knight has also not got the start I expected him to get. He has managed to get past Striker Boy. That's all he's managed to do. Scruffy goes around the outside. That's going to be 13th place for Scruffy. Very, very clean overtake, all things considered. Penguin now starts to charge and will start going after Jacob, who hasn't significantly improved the speed since it's gone dry. And Fake, what are your thoughts on that first lap after the restart?
I mean, I can tell you I got a bit of a brown in my pants after seeing Johnny trying to go for the 3rd place, but then losing a place and trying to gain it back. It was quite scary to me, but he managed to make a stick. And
that is a Ferrari. A Ferrari's had an incident, I think. No, not a Ferrari. Alfa Romeo and an AlphaTauri. Both the Alpha cars having problems. They both have moved down. Edgy goes into 13th, Scruffy into 12th, and they're still both going to be fighting for getting back to the podium positions. As Retrograde has a 2.6 second lead, Fake. What a gap.
Yeah, I mean, those mediums, they are proving to be the better tire around here, but he will have to pit later. The other drivers will not. So he needs to make like a 15-second gap to still be in contention to win this race.
I would say something about 15 to 18-second gap, I would say, around here. But Scraffy has now got up into 11th. He's now got his teammate ahead. I wonder if his teammate will let him through, considering he's on the medium tyres especially. Retrograde, 3.3-second gap. He sets a 1:13.0. He's flying. Absolutely flying in the Red Bull. Does sometimes make you wonder why Red Bull didn't make the switch earlier in the season. Maybe they just didn't know how much pace Retrograde had stored up.
I mean, yeah, I mean, maybe he's just, this is one of his favorite tracks, I guess, but still, this is very impressive from Retrograde, being a reserve all season long, watching from the sidelines, and now taking his chance, taking his opportunity, and yeah.
So we're going to see here, currently your top 5 are Retrograde, followed by both Aston Martins of MKL and Jacob, then the Alpine of Penguin, and then the Haas of Johnny Donny sat in 5th position, about 1 second ahead of Morris, but does have the DRS advantage, which I didn't actually see the message saying it got activated, but I assume it must be activated at this point. Oh wait, actually, are we still within 3 laps? So it'll be this lap coming up that gets activated.
It has to be 2 laps after safety car.
Oh, there's only 2, so it should be activated.
Yeah,
Unless,
I
of course,
think I heard it the other sound. I'm not sure.
we'll see here what happens to Jacob, because Jacob, yeah, it is activated. They all have it. We see a massive incident. Is that valid? No, that's going to be...
Oh, that's Fudge.
Fudge McMuffin has lost the wing, has hit the wall, and drives back through the gravel. He's got quite a long way to go. Does retire from the session.
I wonder how that's happened.
I do not know, but there's an Alpine behind who's got to overtake this retired vehicle. Will now go for the runoff road. But that is going to be a disastrous race for Fudge McMuffin, joining Thunder Fox in retirement. But back at near the front, Johnny is keeping it within half a second of Penguin. Might look for a move in the coming laps. Valid's with 2/10 of RD Gamer, and Igor 2/10 behind that. As Scraffy goes down the inside of the Ferrari, but doesn't find anything. Had to back out. That was a near incident. Therefore, for the McLaren and I mean the Ferrari involved as well. But Scraffy now is showing his pace, but his medium tyres won't last forever, as he needs to get back up into at least that top 5 if he wants to keep his championship hopes alive, as that is obviously his main goal right now, to get back into the championship fight after missing about 3 races this season. They go back onto the start-finish straight. Everyone's DRS is activated. It's just like one massive DRS train to me, Fake.
Yeah, I mean, right now, that's a crash in the back. Bess, I think it's bumped, but yeah, right now it's just, it's the DRS train. It's Zandvoort. Honestly, if there's no close racing, there's no racing at all around this track, because it's just too tight to have some racing, and then the DRS is just not powerful enough to make some overtakes into turn 1, and the second DRS rate is just useless.
Indeed. So, I'm going to see here, as they actually come through this part of the track.
Penguin, massive mistake by Penguin.
Penguin's made a massive mistake and has lost the position to Johnny. Johnny moves back up into 4th,
Yes,
which I know my co-commentator here is going to be very excited about. So we're going to see here, MKL, oh sorry, Retrograde in the lead on those medium lot tyres. They're 7 laps old, followed by MKL, Jacob, Johnny, and Penguin being the top 5. Then Morris, RD Gamer, Valid, Igor, and Kimi Wright being the top 10. As we do have a massive DRS train here, nothing much really going on, as we just get to relax just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's P11 to P4 is part of the DRS train, I guess. So yeah, this is extremely close racing.
What I find very interesting, Scraffy just doesn't have the pace around here.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a great strategy to go on the mediums, because they will die very quickly, of course. Retrograde, he's still finding pace in the mediums, and he's still making the gap. But Scraffy, didn't he go on the mediums earlier than Retrograde? Yes, he did.
Indeed. No, about the same time. Both at 8 lap old.
Okay. Oh yeah, Retrograde, he went in with the safety car came out, but they pitted the same lap.
Oh, I've just realised what Edgen was doing in the pit lane multiple times. I think he was serving his penalty.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah, you're probably right about that actually.
because of course he got this penalty while under safety car, so he pit again to serve the penalty. See, that makes a lot more sense, you know.
Man, we're so fast with what's going on anymore. It's crazy.
We're only like 9 laps behind what's happening, you know. It's all good. As Edgin is now right on the back of Kimi Rai, the DRS working for Edgin better, just has more straight line speed and a bit of a toe. Scraffy now sets the fastest lap. He's now started to go for it. Scraffy now ends up back behind Edgin, 2.7 seconds behind, but Pockets is fighting back. I think we need to watch this battle. As Scraffy goes back around the outside, that was a very, very clean move. And that's going to be now him ahead of Pockets, as Scraffy now needs to make that charge into the top 5. As he, of course, wants to do. As Edgin is still looking at the back of Kimi Rai and needs to go for it soon. He's looking for multiple places to overtake. Of course, most of the tracks are very narrow and too narrow to try and make an overtake. As the front of the grid started to separate a bit, and I don't think we're going to see any racing there for a little while. Retrograde, 6-second gap already. Edgin, just like Scraffy, wants to be up there in the top 5, fighting for the win, and he's just not able to get past this McLaren so far for 10th.
Right now, either Retrograde, he gotta just keep doing this and gaining time, and then pit later to get onto some new tires, and hopefully gain more time, most likely softs, or
as Edgin does go past Kimi Rai. With the DRS, but Kimi Rai goes down the inside. That's going to be Kimi Rai, but not able to find a position. That's going to be Edgin taking 10th place in this race as he continues to charge towards the front, as Valid gets ahead of the Williams.
Yeah, I mean, big battle down there with Kimi Rai and Edgin, but Edgin, he is showing that he is a legend, and he does want to get back into this race after having that poor strategy and a spin.
In fact, Igor's right on the back of RD Gamer. I wonder if this is going to help Edgin through or whether this will hinder Edgin more. Only time will tell over the next couple of laps. We have 17 laps left in this 36-lap race. Damn, this has started to go fast despite the safety car.
Yeah, I mean, do you think the Aston Martins will end up switching position if they can't manage to catch up? Because Edgin, he's only P10, and Jacob right now is P3. And this could be massive points in the championship if Edgin doesn't get any higher up in the standings.
It's entirely possible they will switch. Of course, Jacob is currently championship leader, but that's going to be Igor going past RD Gamer for 8th position. Edgin is slowly behind. Now he goes for the inside, doesn't find it, backs out, realizes it's just not worth the risk that move would have taken. That was going to be a full-on dive bomb move. Edgin, of course, a much cleaner racer than that. But Igor's now going to try and hold up RD Gamer for Edgin. And Edgin will go past, hopefully, in the next few corners. Doesn't find it. Is really looking for it, though. Getting frustrated already. He's only been behind for a few corners, but he's getting frustrated. I don't know, it's too warm in this room, you know. Let's open the window. Anyway, it's always so awkward when we do the... Edgin gets past RD Gamer now for 9th position, and both Ferraris will now be following each other behind Valid in the Alfa Romeo. Valid's having a pretty good race, actually, sat in 7th.
Yeah, I mean, Valid, honestly, that is some good pace by him. I've raced with him before a lot, and he is a very fast driver, but he doesn't seem to have the best pace.
Oh, and that's going to be Edgin going past his teammate of Igor. I wonder if he's being let through or whether they're actually battling. Yeah, no, that's Igor definitely letting him through, as Edgin now takes 8th position off his own teammate. And now Igor's job for Edgin is going to be to try and hold up the rest of the pack, just for a bit at least, until Edgin can get back up, as Edgin is now 1 second behind Valid, but he won't have any DRS advantage unless he can catch back up. Valid's having, as we said, a very good race, sat in 7th. So far, and still right behind Morris as well, so much potential to move up the grid, as Jacob and MKL are just sort of playing off each other right now. They're sort of having a race of their own, as Retrograde is 7.5 seconds ahead, as these tyres now have got to be starting to hurt for the medium runners.
Yeah, I mean, retrograde, the strategy is interesting because either he can try and stay out and manage that 7.5 second gap and hope the tires will last till the end, or he can try and box on soft and see if he has enough pace to re-overtake.
Of
But
course,
on the same time, I don't think that's a good idea because he will end up in the train then.
he will end
And
up in the train with
yeah,
14 laps left. That's a Alpine.
that's Striker.
It is Striker Boy. He is
Oi,
the
Valet?
wrong way round.
Valet has gotten ahead of Morris.
He
Right on
has
the outside
indeed.
in turn 1. That's
I keep missing all the action. I'm no better than F1 TV direction right now. As Striker's really struggling out on track as Retrograde comes to lap him.
I think he's gonna retire.
It is highly possible Striker Boy will retire. He's not been having the greatest season so far.
Yeah,
As
I mean, he's not speeding up really.
yeah, Edgin now right behind Morris. He went for a move, but didn't actually finish the move. As he exits the corner, has way more exit speed, but still isn't able to find anything. The DRS zone not helping him at all. It's such a useless DRS zone. It's so bad. DRS around here is just not that powerful, to be honest.
Yeah.
That is going to be Striker Boy entering the pit lane, and I will assume has retired from this race. That is going to be our third retiree of the race. We have 14 drivers left on track, as these two Ferraris will be looking to make some progress. Scraffy has got a fastest lap, but just isn't finding the pace. I say that as he goes straight past RD Gamer into 10th position. He's now back in the points-paying positions. But RD Gamer's coming back. No, he's not coming back. No, that Scraffy's definitely got position. Scraffy will take that, and he is still now got Igor to deal with. Now, what I think is going to happen here, Edgin is going to tell Igor to hold Scraffy up. I don't know if you'd agree with that, though.
I mean, it would make sense, but I don't think there's any risk from Scraffy because the mediums, they are falling off. And I just don't think that Scraffy, he will be competing with the hard ones who's been on these hards for quite a while now.
However, Scraffy will have the new...
He does on the inside of Morris.
Tries, he's ahead. He is ahead going into the corner, but is he ahead enough? We'll see. He is ahead enough, and that's going to be a confirmed 7th place now for Edgin. As now Valid is next on his list, but Valid's been having a very good race. Let's hope he can stay ahead of Edgin maybe just for a little bit. But Edgin is gaining. He's going for it. He's got the better line out of the exit of the corner. They've got equal speed. He goes in for the toe. DRS not helping him in the slightest as they go round. Goes down the inside, but obviously too far back to make a move. Edgin now has got to really fight for this. There are 12 laps left in this race. These hards will start to wear off for the next, I reckon, 5 laps. And he's going to have to make the moves in that time before they completely die.
Yeah. And I mean, I think out in front you see Retrograde still on the mediums and
still gaining.
His pace is still there. Like, it's really impressive by Retrograde. And his tires haven't seemed to fall off yet, so I don't think he will pit with 10 laps to go.
And he's just having a race of his own out front right now. He just needs to not make any mistakes. And, I mean, he's just clean running. He's not even got any lap cars ahead of him to worry about.
Is Edgin going to go for it again?
We'll see. Will he go for it again? No, he opts not to. Of course, that DRS zone is very hard to make an overtake, despite being a DRS zone. It's a very nasty corner DRS zone exits into. I think you'd agree with me on that. And he goes down the inside, but Valid cuts across the corner, cuts Edgin off, and that's going to be Valid ahead for at least a bit longer. But Edgin has got a significant straight line speed, so I reckon we'll see a move potentially here.
But we don't. That is interesting. I mean, that was a very aggressive dive on there by Edgin.
Igor gets ahead of Morris.
Morris, he just doesn't see the pace right now, I think. But it's funny that both Ferraris have overtaken Morris now. Or maybe there's a bit of thing there that Morris works for Ferrari.
Oh, hold on. Is this going to be Ferrari Gate 2023?
I mean, I shouldn't speak right now with the way that I got fucking.
But Edgin goes down the inside again on this corner for the 2nd time. Valid cuts him off, goes for the switchback. It's all chaos going through the turn. And Edgin will go ahead, but Valid's coming back. Valid doesn't have more straight line speed, doesn't have the better exit, will fall in behind Edgin. And Valid concedes 7th place. Edgin now goes into 6th.
Yeah, Edgin, I think you can stay away now. From
Morris has
Oh,
crashed.
oh. Oh,
Or
dear.
spun the wrong way around, anyway. He's in the middle of the track, blocking the entire track. He
Luckily,
is
there's
going again.
no one of importance behind him.
Retrograde now has a 9-second lead to MKL. Then Jacob, then Johnny, then Penguin. That top 5 has not changed for a very long time. But Penguin is right on Johnny here. About 4 tenths of a second. But Johnny has been dealing with that for a while. But Edgin is right behind that as well. So Penguin's going to have to deal with that very, very soon. Only about 3 tenths between these two drivers. Oh my god.
I mean, I think Penguin can know how to hold him up a bit. I hope. Because I don't want to see him get too close.
But is this really Penguin's race to deal with Edgin right now?
He can hold him up.
Indeed, he can hold him up. But is this Penguin's race? Because Penguin's race right now is with Johnny and Valid, I would say.
Yeah, but I mean, he would do me a good favor if you want me
Morris is having more
Morris
issues.
Again. No. Oh, poor Morris, man.
Morris having a dreadful race so far, down in 14th, the last of our current runners. He will have to now. Oh, and he spins again.
I think Penguin will get Johnny here.
Penguin is going to go for Johnny. He has the DRS. Johnny didn't have any DRS. The DRS worked there for Penguins. He didn't have any. But Johnny had the inside line in the corner, which just gives him a bit more track to work with. And that's going to be the inside line again for Johnny. But Penguins go for the inside line. Johnny goes ahead. He tries to go for it. Johnny gets the better exit. He does stay ahead of Penguin. Of course, Penguin's worrying about edging behind. You've got to be really, really rooted for your driver right now.
I mean, none of them really has any ERS to play with, so it's just about who's closer in the DRS zones right now, and who has the better lines, and who doesn't make a mistake.
Johnny's doing very well on the exits, but Penguin goes down the inside of contact.
No, there's no contact, but I think Johnny just overreacted there. Oh, and Johnny loses 2 positions, man. Fuck.
Johnny does lose 2 positions here. It is round 6 at Zandvoort. We have 8 laps remaining in this 36-lap race. We're 3/4 of the way through, and it's going to be your top 5 has just significantly changed. That's going to be Retrograde, followed by MKL, Jacob, and that's a Ferrari! I got spun!
Oh my god.
And Morris has spun again. It's all going wrong.
Morris, it's all going off. It's all happening.
It's going to be Edgin now, getting past Penguin. Johnny catches up to Penguin. Penguin didn't have any DRS to his name. But that is going to be Edgin now in 4th. He's got 7 seconds to catch to Jacob. And an extra 9 seconds to catch to Retrograde. Edgin has got a lot to do if he wants to win this race. I got edges to pit lane after that spin. I wonder if he will be retiring or just putting on a fresh set of tyres.
But I think finally the mediums of Retrograde has fallen off because he is starting to lose a lot of time actually.
He is losing a hell of a lot of time, so is Aston Martin's. He might have to pit for some soft tyres in the next lap or 2.
I mean, is it worth it though? Is it worth it?
Hey, he might be able to keep this 8-lap gap. Oh, sorry, it's 8-lap gap. Yeah, no, he's lapped them 8 times, you know. Like, he's just that fast.
Mean, worst case, then if both Aston Martins overtake, he is still 6 seconds. I mean, Aston Martin's still 6 seconds ahead of Edgin. So it's interesting. It's interesting. I think the best here is to stay out for Retrograde with 6 laps to go, and what is that, like 14 seconds to P4?
Indeed, yes.
Oh, Johnny?
Oh yeah, Johnny's going back past Penguin, but Penguin has the inside line. Johnny tries to switch back, but there's not another corner to switch back into, as they've got the Mercedes on the pit exit there to worry about. Course the yellow flags, he slows down, just lets everyone through, but Johnny is still behind Penguin, can't find anything, and my throat is starting to hurt because it's been a lot of shouting.
Come on, Johnny. Here we go. He's so much more speed than him. Would he go for it here? Surely not.
He does go for it, but has to back out as Penguin just has his car in the middle of the circuit. Johnny here, Johnny's having an amazing race so far.
Yeah, Johnny, he has a lot of race pace, but behind him is Scraffy. Scraffy has just come out of nowhere and overtaken Valid, and now it's looking even worse for Johnny and Penguin. Fuck.
Indeed. And it is going to be Scruffy now, chasing Johnny, who is chasing Penguin. Edgin now has a very nice bit of clean air. He's only 5.5 seconds behind the Aston Martins, but has 2.5 seconds behind him with a battle. So I think he is safely in 4th position, at least for now. There's 5 laps left in this Grand Prix. It is going to be Retrograde, MKL, Jacob, Edgin, Penguin, your top 5. So far, that is Igor spun again. Igor has gone from having a decent race to a bad race. And I do feel bad for the Ferrari of Igor right now, as he's just not able to keep...
Oh, Penguin spin! Penguin spun!
Penguin spun!
On the exit of turn 3!
He's facing the wrong way on the circuit. He's going to have to turn that car back around. And Penguin now drops to 11th. His race is now effectively over. I hate to be the one who has to say it, but I do have to say it, so I will say it. Penguin's race has now basically ended itself. That is very unfortunate. Scraffy now chasing Johnny. Johnny moves up into 5th position after Penguin's incident. Valid will be behind that in 7th, and RD Gamer behind that in 8th. Kimi Rai, also part of his DRS train, in 9th. It's going to be Johnny through Kimi Rai is your battle here. For
Penguin spun again.
Penguin spun again. These tyres are very hard to get right again after messing them up around here. It does seem
he
like.
crashed into the braking marker? That's weird.
It is
But
possible.
Scraffy should get him here.
Scraffy's going to go for it. He just has so much more speed, but has the inside line. But Johnny is still ahead by about a wing. Igor spin! It's contact!
Oh my
Johnny
God,
crashes.
oh my
He's
God,
out. Johnny is
my-
out of the race.
Oh
And that is going to be a safety car with 5 laps left. This is played right into the hands of the medium runners. Scraffy, Retrograde and Bez. This is played straight into their hands. As Bez and Penguin both pit, as they hadn't gone past the safety car line yet. Or sorry, the pit entrance. Penguin retires from the race. He could have recovered. This is chaos happening here. We're going to have a 2-lap shootout at the end of this race. As I'm just now going to show you what happened there that caused this safety car. They go down the main straight. Scraffy has a lot more speed than what Johnny had. So he goes for the inside line. Johnny takes the outside line, but cuts across on the exit. I don't know if he lost the rear end a little bit. And he just touches the side and takes himself out. That will be a no further investigation from the stewards, I assume. Igor has now retired from this race as well. We've got 11 runners left. Only 1 driver will not be getting points here this evening. And Fake. That's rather unfortunate, I must say. Are you okay, Fake? I believe Fake has died. Or my internet's died. Who knows? Unless Fake's gone to go talk to his drivers. I don't know. Oh no,
I'm
he's
here,
back.
but that is... Oh, that...
Morris
yeah.
gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under safety car. That is his race over. We, because he can't serve that under safety car.
Yeah, it's crazy. His race is over, huh?
Anyway,
Fuck, man.
my co-commentator is having a few issues right now. So who has switched tyres and for what? Let's have a quick look. It's going to be Edgin is still on the hard tyres. This is a very interesting move. Retrograde is on soft tyres in 2nd. RD Gamer, old hard tyres in 3rd. MKL all the way through to Bez are all on soft tyres, and Morris on the medium tyres, which he switched to just a couple of laps beforehand. So,
Oh, that's fucking chaos.
we're going to see here. It's going to continue to happen. We're going to see another safety car restart. Edgin has to restart this time, but on very, very old hard tyres. Retrograde behind on fresh soft tyres. And it's going to be RZ Gamer on those old hard tyres once again, and everyone else on those fresh soft tyres.
I think this is Retrogade's race now.
Retrograde is in the most solid position, and then the 2 Aston Martins behind. Scraffy here is going to really have to fight if he wants podium position. Edgin may still be in with a chance if we go with 1 lap or 2 laps left. But I don't see it happening. Retrograde's overall speed, especially when he's got fresh tyres on. I'm actually very excited for what's going to happen here. We do have a lapped car in the mix. I will just mention that.
Yeah. You'll be excited. I'll be speechless. Let's agree on that. Um, that's just.
I can imagine your debrief from after the race is going to be very interesting.
Well, I think this one, RD Gamer making an interesting strategy with staying on the hards to maybe salvation points. But Etienne's move just confuses me so much. Maybe he didn't have any softs and was like, sure.
Maybe he just wanted to track position. We know Etienne's very good with track position, so
maybe, yeah.
that could be what happens. So, safety car is in this lap. Etienne is your effective safety car once again.
Yeah. So.
Anyway, sorry, I was just reading something. So, we're gonna go to the restart now. Etienne has the restart, but he's got on old hard tyres. Retrograde right behind will have so much more grip. Oh god, no. Hey FIFA, don't start now. Come on. 3 more laps. That's all you gotta last. We're gonna have a 3 or 2 lap shootout here.
Yeah, okay, here we go.
Fake, you might need to take over.
So, Etienne has gone off, and Retrograde is right behind him. No, actually, oh wait, he's catching up a bit. But here comes the blue lap car, and Scraffy and Jacob is having a scrap there for P5. And now Scraffy, he has the inside line, and he could get ahead here. But Jacob is fighting with his life. He wants this position, he wants the championship points. But Scraffy has a massive bob and a snap there, and that's a crash from RD Gamer. Oh my god, RD Gamer's gone round, and this has changed everything.
It has indeed changed everything as MKL takes third position. Retrograde is second. Etienne still has the lead, but Retrograde's right behind him. Retrograde is set in purple sectors, left, right, and centre. Scraffy here is very close to a podium. He goes down the inside, almost makes contact. He goes very wide on the exit, avoiding the contact. And Retrograde here is getting very impatient. He's got to go for a move soon. We have 2 laps left in this race. It's going to be Etienne, Retrograde, MKL, Scraffy, and Valid, your top 5. We only have 11 runners left. We're going to have all but one score points this evening, as Valid there has Kimi right behind, who's also having a very good race, I must say. Scraffy is still on the tail of MKL. MKL is going to really want to keep Scraffy behind. He wants the points. He really needs the points. Etienne wants the points as well from Retrograde, and he's keeping it. Etienne set fastest lap. Oh. Yeah, that says it all. Etienne sets the fastest lap on those 26 old hard tyres. Retrograde just can't do anything about it. MKL has a 1.5 second loss to Retrograde, and Scraffy now 6 seconds behind. Penguin leaves the session, but he is retired, so it's not important.
Is Etienne gonna win it?
Etienne might win it. We're on the final lap of round 6 of season 6 of F1 2022 here at DRC.
He's catching up.
Retrograde catch up, Scraffy catch up, Valid catching up. This is going to be a very interesting end to the Grand Prix here. It's going to be Etienne still in the lead, about half a lap completed. We're going to go into
I think Etienne gets this.
DRS will not be enabled for the end of this race. We're going to have Retrograde here. Pockets gets ahead of Bez, goes into 8th position. It's going to be, oh, that's almost a back-end loss there for Retrograde. He sort of slides over the curb just a little bit. It's going to be MKL still ahead of Scraffy. It's all going to come down to the final corner. Etienne is ahead. 26-lap-old hard tyres. He's nursed them to perfection. And it's going to be now. He goes through the final corner. He's got the slingshot. Retrograde has more speed. He's going to go for it. Etienne wins the race. Retrograde comes second. MKL comes third. Scraffy fourth. Valid fifth. Kimi Rai sixth. And Jacob seventh. Oh my god. What an end to the race, Fake.
Oh. Wow. That was
my god.
Something. That was interesting.
Oh.
That was really interesting there. Nice commentating. But wow. That was something, huh? That was something.
It was indeed something. Jacob only manages 7th position. But that's going to be Etienne, followed by... Oh my god. Followed by Retrograde, followed by MKL. If you could ping them all and get them to go into the cooldown room.
Yes, I will.
What an end to the race we absolutely just had.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I am like, it was such a... Okay, I've got to say, it was quite a boring race for most of it. But then a safety car caused a 2-lap shootout. Just
Yeah,
abs-
I mean, this race was a sleeper race until the last two
So,
laps.
sorry, but your final finishing positions were Edging in first, followed by Retrograde, only by about 4 tenths of a second. Then MKL, Scrappy, Valid, Kimmy Wright, Jacob, Bez, RD Gamer, Pockets, Morris, and then was your final finisher in 11th. Then your retirees were Johnny, Igor, Penguin, Striker Boy, Fudge McMuffin, and Thunder Fox. That's going to be a double retirement for both Haas and for Alpine. Very unfortunate for both teams. And that is the end of your Zandvoort Grand Prix. And it started raining again, apparently. So, you know. Um,
I was. Ooh.
but we will get some interviews here shortly. Let me just see if I can get out of the game before my PC crashes. We'll see. There we go. So now we're just going to wait, see if anyone wants to join the cooldown room. They've all had interviews before, so I do assume they will do it again. We'll just wait to see. Of course, they're probably just having a quick debrief with their teams, celebrating their race. We do have Edgin in the comms box. I'm very excited for my interview with Edgin because that was a very interesting strategy we did see. But I just want to see MKL join the the cooldown room before we start the interviews here. Um, just gonna wait a little bit longer. It's taking a little while for them to join the cooldown. You did ping everyone, didn't you? Uh, so just gonna wait here. But fake, if you're still here.
Yeah.
Um, what do you make of that race?
It was it was a really sleeper race for literally the whole race until the last two laps. Um, of course, Johnny crashed, which yeah. And then the safety car came out, and then we just had everybody gone soft except for Agent, who kept it clean on the hards and just somehow found pace and found the fastest lap, and he brought it home to take the win. And I think that might have given him the championship lead as well, depending on where
Indeed.
he finished last weekend as well.
Anyway, so we're going to start our interviews here. MKL has joined the cooldown room. So we're going to have a quick conversation with MKL, who is your Aston Martin driver who finished third position. Incredible drive, keeping Scruffy behind you at the end there, MKL. What was going through your mind at that restart?
I mean, it was quite weird in one hand because there was a on the restart there was Morris in front of me, and I just couldn't really like be that close to Arctic Gamer to jumping on the restart, and yeah, that really like messed up my like further race, but yeah, and then Scruffy behind, he wasn't that quick to pass me, so uh, I just finished the race calmly.
And you and your teammate of Jacob spent a significant portion of the race just cruising in second and third. Um, were you just making sure you saved the tyres in case you need to make it to the end, or was there any extra strategy happening there, or was it just clean air, just driving, enjoying your day?
Um, yeah, more of just driving. I was just trying to get into my pace, my normal pace, and he was just trying to stick behind with the RS. That worked somehow, but yeah, then very unlucky safety car for us. Um, and yeah, we needed to pit because our tires were just so dead. So yeah, we just needed to pit, and yeah, just that really messed up our race. But yeah.
And indeed, when it switched from wet to dry, I noticed you two stayed out a lap longer than the leaders. Is there any specific reason for that? Of course, the safety car came out and helped you in the end, but any specific reason you opted to stay out an extra lap or two?
Mm, Hmm. Um, to be honest, I heard from my race engineer that it's time to pit when I just crossed the finish line. So um, I thought I stayed too long at that moment, but yeah, it turned around. It was a safety car, and there was even better time to pit, and yeah.
Very interesting. And Fake, anything you wanted to ask?
No, not really. I think we covered it all.
So if I just have a quick look at the calendar, we're going to go to Silverstone next weekend, which is arguably the best track on the calendar. I mean, it's my favourite anyway, so a bit of bias there. But how do you feel around Silverstone? Do you reckon you can get another podium to your name?
Mm, I'm not sure. I'm not the fastest guy on that track. Um, Definitely with this grid we have this season, so definitely need to practice and find the limit. But yeah, we'll see.
All right, thank you for joining us in the commentary box for an interview. Congratulations on your third place. Very unlucky for your teammate, but yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. Cheers.
So I don't think Retrograde wishes to have an interview, which is totally fine. So we're just going to bring in your race winner, Edgin, driving for Ferrari, made those hard tyres last for longer than they really should have done. I mean, set a fastest lap in the final 2 laps as well. Edgin, how was that race for you?
It was good, you know. Uh, Safety car ruined me, then safety car helped me.
Indeed. That is how I would say it,
fair.
you know. Of
Yeah.
course, you pit the lap earlier for the slick tyres at the start of the race, and then the safety car came out, which gave the Aston Martins especially an advantage. In fact, everyone ahead of you an advantage. But at the end of the race there, I just want, what were your thoughts on Retrograde on those fresh soft tyres coming off the restart, and where did that pace come from as well?
Pace came from ERS being at 100% and running the game on medium TC because it's better. Simple as. And my thoughts on it is, last race at 0.6 seconds made a huge difference, and this race seems like 0.4 seconds made a huge difference. So, we take the win.
Indeed, indeed. And Fake, anything you wanted to ask?
No, again, you covered up pretty good there.
Yeah. And I'm just interested. When you did switch to the slick tires, was there a specific reason you switched that lap and didn't wait an extra lap like many of the other drivers did, who then got the safety car advantage?
Yeah, engineer was telling me it's crossover time, so I did it, and the engineer was wrong. Not my IRL engineer, my in-game engineer,
Wow,
and
bad
we didn't have
engineer.
an IRL engineer, so yeah.
It's
Terrible.
just that I was being told by the Aston Martins they're getting told slightly later than everyone else by their in-game engineers that switch over point. So very
Yeah.
interesting race overall. That must have been a very stressful last couple of laps for you. But congratulations on the win. That's going to be your third win of the season, second win of the season.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. To be quite honest, man, F1 22 is it's not a game I really want to keep playing. So yeah,
Yeah, no,
that's all.
fair enough. But it is Silverstone next weekend, assuming you are still going to be with us next weekend. Is it a good track for you? You expect a good result?
Yeah, it's a good track. Yeah.
Well,
We'll see what happens.
hope to see you up here again. Congratulations again on your win, and thank you for joining us for an interview.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
So, Fake, I've broken it. Anyway, Fake, that was a brilliant race, I must say, especially at the end. Well, it's kind of boring until the last couple of laps, but yeah, quite happy with the last couple of laps. Thank you for joining me today,
Yeah.
and I probably won't see you again next week.
No, I don't expect so.
I probably have Def again next week,
Hopefully.
who wasn't here this week. Got caught up doing something else, which is kind of funny. But yeah, thank you for joining me, filling in at such short notice. So yeah,
Yeah, sure.
and
I
that was
enjoyed it.
round 6 of season 6 here at DRC. We'll be back again at 28th of May, which is exactly a week from now, for round 7 around Silverstone. So from us, the commentary team. No, I need to plug. I haven't plugged anything. You could follow the Instagram at Digital Racing Championship. Join the Discord, discord.gg/digital racing. I think we've got a Twitter somewhere as well. And join the Discord again. Yeah, if you want to take part in any races or join the conversation or anything like that. Anyway, that's been us. Been Mackie. It's been with Fake. Goodbye.